To say 2020 has been a wild year is an understatement, not only because of a global pandemic that caused millions of us to stay at home, but because the stock market saw this huge crash and then one of the most impressive recoveries in the time span of just a few months. People have made a ton of money in this market. Elon Musk saw his net worth triple in just the last 7 months. Jeff Bezos is worth $74 billion more now than he was in January. And it's not only billionaires that are trying to take advantage of the stock market. More people started investing in day trading in the last few months than ever before, which makes me curious. How long have you been investing for? Did you just start recently, or are you a veteran? Anyway, let's talk about the 6 best performing stocks of 2020 and how much money you could have made if you invested in them. Hey everybody, my name is Hisham Khan and welcome to Income Over Outcome, where I give you college, career, and of course, personal finance tips. A lot of people, including myself, really doubted the stock market this year. With a record number of people being unemployed and so many businesses being shut down, it just didn't make sense for the stock market to do well. But the good old government vowed to make sure that would never happen, and they pumped trillions upon trillions of dollars back into the economy. And boy, did they do a good job, because as of today, the S&P 500 is up 50% from what it was in March. To put that into perspective, the stock market averages just 8 to 10% every single year. So to go up 50% in a few months is a huge deal. As of right now, the government is actually working on another stimulus package, and rumor has it there's going to be another round of payments directly to us, and this one might actually include students. And of course, as soon as the official package comes out, I'm going to make a video on everything you need to know about it and how it's going to affect you, so be sure to look out for that. Now, there have only been a handful of stocks that are really pushing the stock market up ever since March, like Facebook, Amazon, and Google. But surprisingly, these aren't even the stocks that have the best returns. Let me know in the comments if you have already been invested in any of these stocks I'm about to talk about. And if not, which ones do you wish you had invested in? The stock with the highest returns of 2020 is Dexcom. Now, you have probably never even heard of them, but they're worth almost $40 billion. What they do is make these devices that help diabetes patients monitor their glucose levels. It's not really surprising that the best performing stock during a global pandemic is a healthcare stock. The main thing that really caused Dexcom stock to skyrocket this year is the fact that the FDA approved their devices to help with the COVID-19 pandemic. Back in January, their stock was at $220 per share. Now, it's sitting at over $420. That's almost a 90% increase in just 7 months. The great thing about Dexcom is the demand for their products isn't going anywhere anytime soon. In their Q1 earnings call, they also announced plans to expand their international market and expand use of their products. So I think their stock will continue to have potential. Taking the second spot for the best stock returns of 2020, we have PayPal, which really doesn't surprise me because PayPal has consistently been a top growth stock over the last few years. Most of us have probably used PayPal at some point to pay somebody. And if you think you haven't, have you used Venmo? Because PayPal actually owns Venmo, and that has been a huge source of its growth. You know a company is destined for great things when people start using its name as a verb. Like, hey, just Google that, or yo, you need to Venmo me that money. PayPal's whole business model is creating easy contactless payments, which has clearly been really important throughout this pandemic. Now, you might be thinking that Venmo is really only used with people when they go out with their friends. But last quarter, PayPal said Venmo payments went up over 48% compared to the same time last year, because so many more people have signed up for Venmo during this pandemic than in the past. And now that I think about it, I've actually been using Venmo way more the last few months than I did before. In the beginning of the year, PayPal was at just $110 per share. Now it's sitting at over $170. That's about a 65% increase. Although PayPal stock is pretty expensive, it doesn't seem like demand for their products are going anywhere anytime soon. And I honestly think contactless payments are only going to become more prevalent even after everything settles down. And if that happens, PayPal stock is only going to benefit more. At number 3, we have another healthcare company you have probably never heard of before, and that's Regeneran Pharmaceuticals. They're a biotech company worth over $60 billion. and they've made some of the top medicines out there today. And of course, they're on the forefront of working on a COVID-19 vaccine. Regeneron landed a $450 million contract with the federal government for their potential coronavirus vaccine. If they successfully pass all of their clinical trials, the government is set to buy hundreds of thousands, if not millions of doses from them. And that's not the only thing this pharma company has going for them right now. Over the last few months, demand for their other drugs has also soared, which makes sense considering how many people have gotten sick. Regeneron stock has gone up almost 70% this year, but honestly, their stock is worth a lot more than their actual earnings. I think a lot of their growth is because of hope that their coronavirus vaccine will be successful, but there's no guarantee of that. And there's a bunch of pharma companies who have made progress on a vaccine, and a lot of them have actually gotten more money from the federal government. Just last week, Pfizer landed a $1.95 billion deal with the government for hundreds of millions of doses, but only time will tell how this plays out for Regeneron. Holding the fourth spot, we have Nvidia, which is a $250 billion tech company that works with artificial intelligence and data centers, but they're most well known for making gaming processors for computers. The main reason Nvidia has been performing so well is because they posted absolutely amazing profits this year when so many people were concerned about the economy. A huge part of their revenues are actually their data centers, but the fact that gaming activity has increased because so many people are bored at home probably helped them out too. This year, Nvidia stock has gone up almost 70%. Back in January, it was at just $240 per share. As of the moment I'm filming this video, it's at $407. In fifth place, we have the company you were probably expecting this whole time, the one and only Amazon. Now, if you don't know what Amazon does, you probably live under a rock. There aren't many companies better positioned than Amazon to deal with a pandemic like this. With people not being able to go out to stores and shop, Amazon has been the go-to place to buy things. And I don't know about you, but 2-day Prime shipping has been an absolute lifesaver for me these last few months. While other companies really struggled to transition to selling online, Amazon came out on top. After all, that's all they've been doing for the last 2 decades. The growth in Amazon stock has been absolutely insane. Back in January, their market cap was just under $1 trillion. Now it's sitting at over $1.5 trillion. That's about a 60% increase. I honestly don't see Amazon's growth slowing down anytime soon. In the next few months and years, it's only going to grow more and more. So if this stock isn't in your portfolio, you should definitely research it and think about adding it. Now, you probably know this by now, but I always save the best for last. And in sixth place, we have a company that holds a very special place in my heart, and that's Netflix. They have been absolutely crushing it. Statistics show that watching Netflix has been the #1 activity throughout the pandemic. Now, I totally made that up, but you believed it because it's very likely that that was the case. I mean, the first month or two of quarantine, all people would talk about was Tiger King, and Netflix has done a really good job of constantly releasing content that keeps people coming back. Their stock has gone up about 50% since the beginning of the pandemic, and if there's any company that deserves to be doing well right now, it's definitely Netflix. You might have noticed that all of these companies have been able to take advantage of the pandemic in some way, shape, or form, and that's all what investing is about, finding companies that have the competitive edge. Let me know which one of these companies you found most interesting, and be sure to hit that notification bell and come back on Friday because I'm posting a video on the best college majors. But until then, take care.